Today is episode number 2 with the interview of Denise Pigotti of Momma D's Italian Food Trailer. Today we are talking about community involvement, food costs, labor, and being on social media. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 Sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
That is our logo on our actual food trailer. It says better together, because we want the community to all know you're not just supporting our small business. We're supporting all of the businesses in our local town.
You talked about the Amish does your bread, you said?
Mm-hmm. They do our garlic knots for us.
So just in general, how many local suppliers do you have that help you with your food truck?
3. The local grocery store, which is employee owned, because I don't use the big stores. And then the Unruh Processing Meat does all of our butcher meat and for our meatballs. And then Rachel's Amish Kitchen does our garlic knots for us.
Do each of those businesses have a following that people would recognize that you're using their particular products?
Unruh does, not the Amish, because they don't do technology on that aspect, but Unruh Meat Processing does. It's actually a blessing because we went around to them. When I first started opening up and decided to have this idea, I wanted to go around and promote myself to the businesses and see if they would give me the opportunity to be able to work with them to do this. And they really do an amazing job on making sure when I call in my orders, they have it all ready for me. And I mean, it's just been a blessing.
Let's talk about the numbers a little bit about your business. You had mentioned that most of your plates you sell between $8.50 and $10. So just in general, what would your food costs be? What kind of number of plates you're selling a day to give somebody hopefully some inspiration?
Well, we try and keep our food cost 26 to 28%.
Okay.
And that's what we had to figure out with our raw numbers, to making sure what we were actually paying for our product to what we could actually put it out. Because doing everything homemade takes a lot of ingredients. Mm-hmm. But if you use those ingredients on a lot of your same products, it will help you on your food cost also that way. So it's beneficial to make sure when you are building your menu, you build your menu to where everything is multi-use. You will save in the long run that way.
Yeah, it definitely cuts down on waste, save space as well.
Right. And you don't want, I mean, I've been in the food business for 37 years. I've been a general manager. I've been a training district manager, and you do not want to make mass amounts. You want to make less more often, especially when you are in a food trailer or a food truck, because you're going to have your busy moments and you're going to have your slow moments, slow days, busy days. It depends on what event and what you're doing for that specific day. So you don't want to have too much waste and raise that food cost too high.
The things that you bring up about food costs is something that people should be paying attention to. Being able to home make as much stuff as you're doing, or create your menu in-house as much as you are with all your different pastas and sauces and stuff, and still to be able to run that kind of a food cost is amazing. And what's even more amazing is the price point. $8.50 to $10 on average. That's beating most restaurants.
We try and make sure, like, again, the Italian seasoning, when I do that, it's portioned in all the food. The sauce, so it's just sauce, cheese, and the pastas. So you're just using the same cheese for different pastas. You're just, the only thing that is different is your pastas. Everything else is the same basic. So you're not wasting a lot of your material. When you're doing multiple things like taco trucks or, burgers, you have 10 different burgers. You're still using the same meat, but are you using all your other product to be able to go with it to keep that control of that food cost down? In the food truck and trailer business, as you know, food cost and labor are two costly things right there.
Let's talk about labor since you brought it up. You said you work with you and one other person?
Me and my son, I did have a couple of other people that work for me, but they're school kids. You know how that goes at
Right.
sometimes. But I do have one that does events with me. And then my older son, he's helping me. We go around to different events. So when we had the Norman, we had 4 people working with us. A lot of it's just basically the events that I use a lot of the crew for on a daily basis. It'll be just me and maybe my older son, or I'm doing, he may be running my other business at that time, or he'll be out there helping me. But basically in my town, I could pretty much do it. I'm a good multitasker.
There you go. Definitely got to be one of those you're going to run a food truck.
Yeah, because your labor we all know we have them slow days where we get discouraged, and we don't want to pass that on to our employees, because they're the ones that majority are greeting and giving that first impression to those customers. Again, that's part of what your curb appeal is. That was one of the things that made me do a wrap on my trailer. A lot of people sometimes don't do wraps, they just do letterings or whatever. And you want to have that attractiveness to your trailer. There's this all little points to it that brings the customer to the trailer.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old cartoons where they wanted to draw attention to something. So they'd put like 30 arrows all pointing to that one thing they wanted you to notice. That's what your wrap is. It's getting people to
Right.
notice your business.
Right. And social media, Bill, I cannot emphasize it enough. I advertise 4 times a day, and then the other thing is too, is when we're on food truck training with you, supporting the other food trucks or other food trailers, and they follow you and you follow them, and just always be positive to each other, because sometimes we are what we only have out there is ourselves.
Yep.
And sometimes it can get pretty hard out there for us, but never give up. If you believe in your product and you believe in yourself, your business will succeed.
That's awesome advice for anything in life. If you fall down 10 times, you want to get up 11.
That's absolutely correct. You're going to fall down many a times. You will. There's days where I don't have a lot of sales. And then there's days where I'm like, wow, this was a busy day. You never give up on yourself and never give up your product. Don't doubt yourself. I sometimes I read on some of the posts, where people, should I keep doing this? Should I not? Never give up on your dreams. I watched a show on Steve Harvey one time, and he said, there's anything you do in life, take that jump. You will succeed. If you're going to go out there with motivation, skill, knowledge, and production of what you want to give out to your customers, you will succeed. There is no going back.
Yeah, you got to take that step. Just like Steve Harvey said, you got to make that jump. You got to do it. If you learn, just go do it. That's the next step.
Right. And for the people out there who are nervous, and, I see a lot, do I do this full time? Do I do it just on the weekends? Or they have to do it. I'm doing it full time because I knew that I was ready to. Some people may not be ready yet. And then they see, oh, I can do this, and I can, and I can, and I can. And then they do it and they're like, man, I should have done this a while ago. And that was one thing I never wanted to regret saying, is that I finally did my dream. And this is my dream. And when I got my food trailer, I actually cried because I was so happy to know that I was able to accomplish with what I did.
I tell a lot of people, and they're just like you, their dream is to have their own food truck, their own restaurant, their own food establishment of some sort. And I tell them that's a big deal in and of itself, because there are so many people out there that just dream and say, man, I'd love to have a food truck, and they never do anything about it. You got one, you started, you are open, and now you're finding that it can be successful as well. So there's lots of reasons to pat yourself on the back just when you get the trailer, because you've already done something that a whole bunch of people will never, ever do.
And actually, when I first got the food trailer, when I was thinking about getting the food trailer, before I actually received it, I didn't even really let anybody know. I didn't want to be discouraged. I knew I didn't want one doubt in my mind, because I had no doubt on myself that I would achieve my goals. And I went and I got the trailer, and it was just beautiful. Red, the Italian, the red, white, and green, it all just flowed all together, and I couldn't have been more proud.
Whenever I get to see people and they pick up their trailer that very first time, they get to see it and then walk on it, just the look on their faces is just so priceless.
It is. It's like, this is mine. Yeah. I did this. And it was the same feeling that I got when I got my trailer, was the same feeling I had when I served my first customer. I was like, dang it, I did it. I finally did it. And again, I say that curb appeal because it's when they're approaching your trailer or your truck, when you're giving them that smile, asking them for their order, and they ask you, how'd you start? Or, oh, how'd you do this? Or, and you talk with them. And then to where you say, all right, we'll see you. And then they come back, that you did a good job. And it's very rewarding to me.
Just a smile when they bite into the food is worth it to me. Just knowing.
Yeah,
that
we have it to where they can do the go on my website, or they can go on Mama D's Facebook or Mama D's Instagram, and they post something on there, and they know they screenshot that and give it to me. They get a free Italian cannoli just for letting them, everybody know how they enjoyed their meal. And that's all I want them to do is enjoy what I serve them.
And that's a good little marketing tip there that helps.
Yeah, it works. It works out real great because Facebook and Instagram are just two of the top notch. Just follow your other food truck or your other food trailers and just support each other. And you'd be surprised on the following that everybody starts having for each other, which brings in all the clientele.
Exactly. You reach a critical mass when you get on social media that there's so many people that find you through social media that have no idea you exist, but they found you through social media when your numbers get big enough because all the friends and all the family start sharing. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of towns that are in people's areas that have their own specific, beside your Facebook, you go into it and, like Inola Eats or Inola Uncensored, and that links to everybody who follows in my town, and that lets them know, hey, Mama D's is going to be at this event, or, on my Easy Eats, I posted on there what my event is for the day, or my website, and they all know. I mean, a lot of people can't afford to do a website, but it is beneficial because a lot of people will go on there. I have online ordering. They can do it on there, or they call in their orders. It's just all beneficial to your business.
Yes, it is. Every little thing that you can do helps. Sometimes you don't always see that help immediately, but it does help if you keep just plugging away at it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.